Okay, welcome back to the Underdog Wealth Academy. Today I'm really excited about our guest. I'm joined today by David Butler.
Howdy.
David is, honestly, David and I would say don't know each other super well, but he's like one of those types of people where every time I interact with him, I'm like, I feel like I've known this soul for a long time. We met 2 years ago at an airport randomly. My little brother was he was leaving for his mission to Africa.
Right.
And your son is getting home from his mission in Africa in a week.
Yeah.
But
so
when
they left at the same time then.
Yours left like a little bit after.
Him, yeah. You were dropping him off.
Yeah, your son was leaving a little bit after my brother.
That's right.
But we were at the airport and you came up to me and you were like, "Do I know you?" And I was like, "You're like church famous, and I'm not. So I know you, but no, you do not know me." So introing David Butler.
But it's because we went to the gym at the same time, and so that's where I had
you had seen me at the Vasa Fitness in Saratoga Springs religiously there in the mornings, and so yeah, then we kind of became workout buds where we would see each other every morning, and we got to know each other well there. So I've always really admired you for, I don't know, like I just feel like you've made a big impact and you have a lot of people that follow you, but you just feel, I love people that they're so unassuming and it's just like kind no matter what. And I feel like you could say no to sit downs like this very easily because you probably have a lot of people that reach out, but I appreciate you being willing to sit with me and just let me ask you some questions. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
David runs the Don't Miss This podcast. If you don't know who David is, it's a weekly scripture study for members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and has some other really awesome things he's doing with his own brand and things like that. But that's probably the thing that people know you for really well, right?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And that was initially, that podcast, you started that with your current co-host's mom,
right?
Who's now, what's her name? I'm sorry.
Emily. Yeah.
She's now a general authority.
Right. General Young Women's president.
Yeah. Got it. And then now you run it with her daughter.
Right. Yeah.
And what's her name?
Grace.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I listen every once in a while. And again, I think that your guys' impact that you have on members of the church and people of faith is big time. So.
Well, it's nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. So we'll get into it. I kind of told you this before, but a lot of my listeners are 18 to 30-year-olds. And so I feel like in your 20s, it's kind of this like decade of decisions, if you will, and just super important years to hopefully get right and like lay a foundation, for your life. And I guess my first question would just be like, if you're speaking to a 20-year-old or someone maybe right before their mission or after their mission, like, maybe just speak to how important it is as a 20-year-old person to go intentionally build your life around Christ and kind of, him as your foundation in life, and just how you've seen that bless your life and the life of your family.
Well, I think first I'd start with I don't know what I would start with first. So this is going to be out of order, but I like the idea of somebody finding something, and in this case, someone, which I think is better than something, right? Mm-hmm. And there's value to unchanging like principles, right? And moral values that feel like anchors. Like you could anchor yourself to like the virtue of freedom, and you can anchor yourself to the virtue of kindness, right? And they would kind of become like, I don't know.
Right.
The world is just shifting so fast and so much, and it's so hard to know what do I do next and where do I go. There's something and I'm sure someone's done the study to measure the kind of confidence and sort of like settledness that you could feel if you have something in your life that you're like
sure about.
This is what I'm sure about this. I'm sort of like anchored to this. I think something is cool to anchor yourself to, but someone is where I think there's so much beauty in anchoring yourself, binding yourself, connecting yourself to Jesus, and by virtue of doing that, God the Father, right? That just in my view, they're kind of just one for all intents and purposes, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about one, I feel like we're talking about both of them. But there's something about the steadiness and faithfulness of Jesus. I think in Scripture, that's one of the most complimentary words that Scripture uses about God, that he's true and faithful.
Yeah.
That he's like reliable.
So reliable.
That just like there's something that will not change there ever. Yeah. And as much as I like change, I think I like change at least. Mm-hmm. You know, I like new exciting things, something different, whatever. Yeah. There is something I think that's
I love that.
Good.
I think when I actually I was like preparing for this and maybe just wanted to come with a couple of questions. And one thing that I was thinking about what I know about you is that you are deep in terms of your LDS faith. You're very committed as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
But you also go wide. You're deep and wide in that you like also love to go explore. You're curious about like world religions. You teach about world religion and you take people on groups on trips. Yeah. And so there's this like deep element to you, but then there's also a wide element. So maybe speak to that. Like, and how does the width and being curious and like being willing to go and explore some of those things actually help you in order to go deeper with your faith in Jesus and in Heavenly Father?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And this is like my, it is a good question. And also I don't really know how to answer it other than to just ramble about it. But I think that's one of my favorite topics. And it's one I just
being religion, just in general,
just faith, people's faith,
spirituality,
and
all of it.
And I think part of it is, I think there's two reasons. One, my faith is such an important part of who I am. Like that, it guides my decisions more than any other aspect of my life. Right. So it's what's his name? The CEO of Cotopaxi. He's the mission president right now. David Smith.
Yeah, he's in. He is in Colombia or Brazil or something like that.
Yeah, South America somewhere. Uh-huh. Right before he left, I heard him like addressing this concept of in the workplace. He's like, we've gotten so afraid of talking about faith in the workplace. Yeah. And he was saying that's a tragedy for this very reason that we're talking about, which is, I mean, if you took a pie chart of like these are the things that help me. That form my values, my decisions, the way I see the future, the way I see the past, the way I see myself, the way I see other people. Right. And you have a pie chart and you're like, what influences that? I would dare say most people that I know and like interact with, a gigantic percentage of that pie would be my faith. Yeah. Even subconsciously, I think that happens with people, right?
I agree with that.
So I love people a lot. Like people are my passion. Yeah. Right?
Yep. And I've seen that.
And I hope that didn't sound like...
No.
I think everybody like kind of is, right?
Everyone has gifts and like you, I can tell like people light you up.
Like, and I love it, right? If you're like, what's your favorite thing to do in a week? I'd be like, lunch with friends.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Cool. So cool.
I just like, to me, that just... fills my cup right up, you know? I just love people. And because faith is such an important part of who somebody is, I don't think you actually know someone very well if you don't know much about their faith and their beliefs. Yeah. That would be if that's a big part of your pie chart, then that would essentially be who someone is. Yeah. Like, they've got their sports teams that they love, and they've got their favorite drink, and they've got their favorite ice cream and their favorite vacation spots. Yeah. And you're like, those are all really cool to know, and I want to know them, and I want to go with
those things. They just come and go, though.
Yeah,
you know, right, they come and go. Like, people change sports teams all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty loyal to my childhood.
Who's that? Let's hear
Astros, the Houston Astros.
Okay, cool. I've been to an Astros game in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went like a year or two ago.
Dude,
it was actually a cool stadium.
Minute Maid.
Yeah.
They've renamed it, which is such a tragedy.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I don't even know what it is. It's some like dumb
no, it was
energy
fun.
company
it was
or
hot.
something.
It was like summertime.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah. It's brutal down there. But yeah, you're right. You're just like the things I was interested in as a 20-year-old has changed. And
Yeah.
that's fun to watch people change and
Yeah.
see what their new loves and passions are, what they stumble upon
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But somebody's faith is so central to who they are. And I had a friend once, and she's of another Christian denomination and lived here in Salt Lake for a while, starting a church. And she actually said to me one time, because when she got here to Salt Lake, she realized, a large percentage of this place is members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so what she did is she started like going to their church meetings and reading their scripture, and like she's got involved in like their programs and things that they did. Yeah. And I was talking to her about that one time, and she said she's the one who kind of like kind of tuned me into this idea of, she's like, how can you truly love your neighbor and take care of your neighbor if you don't know who they are? And how can you know who they are if you don't know their faith? So
when was that?
Oh, I think, man, that's got to be like 10 years ago.
Did that, like, how long have you been taking groups on trips and kind of leading?
Last several years, 5-6 years.
So when you do that, is it mainly LDS trips, or are you teaching world religion, kind of like other cultures and traditions on some of these trips too?
Both. Okay. Most of the people who are coming are coming because they know me from this LDS world. Okay. So that's kind of who they are. Right. So you got to speak to your audience, right? Sure. And it's who I am too. Yep. So if it was a group that was entirely of a whole bunch of different faiths, I wouldn't be intimidated by it, but I would probably present differently, in the places that we go. So one of my favorite places to go is to Israel, to the Holy Land. Like that's top of my list. Yeah. Yeah. Just barely.
I saw some pictures of that. That's awesome.
Just got back less than a week ago. Cool. So, but when we're there, Jerusalem is, the whole country is a hub of different faiths, 3 major faiths, right? Yep. Christianity and Islam and Judaism, right? Yep. And so you have to like talk about those things and like
it gives context.
Yeah. I mean, people are
like you're not showing the full picture if you
right
don't. And really, to your prior point, it's like how even if someone is Christian, like you have to be able to. A Christian needs to understand where everyone else is at with things. Sure. It just makes more sense of their faith. Yeah. It helps kind of give it color.
I mean, to all, the 2 great commandments that Christians adhere to in their lives are to love God and love people. Yeah. Right. That's like, those were like the north and whatever you say, the 2 axes, the X and Y. Yeah. Right. That Jesus gave when somebody said, hey, teach me how to live the good life. Yeah. And he was like, it's actually pretty simple. Like, love God, nurture that relationship with him. And the second one's like practically the same. And he says, love people, which is so intriguing. Yeah. Because I think it's his way of saying you'll actually find God in people. Wow,
that's cool. No, I actually love that because it kind of helps, I guess, in my head, and I'm not trying to like speak for you, but it kind of make it, I feel like your answer almost to like the deep and wide question is like, deep is about God and wide is about just like understanding that not everyone was born in Utah and raised a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And like, I want to go understand people so that I can love them for who they are and kind of like.
Yeah. The interesting thing about my study of and kind of curiosity about different faith traditions has strengthened my own. Right. And I think I love a lot of people come in to it like a little hesitantly. Yeah. Where they're just like, is this going to like, what's this going to do to my own faith? Is it going to undermine it? Am I going to, Right. And the exact opposite has been true for me. Like it has made me deeper and wider in my soul where I'm just like, I see the value of what I'm committed to. I see the value of commitment to a particular faith tradition because I think there is a growing idea out there of people just like not wanting to be committed to anything, right? Just trying everything, and there's some, I can see the appeal to something like that, but it's like, to me, that would just be like perpetually dating and never settling down. Yeah, and there are some things that grow out of settling down. that you can't experience.
Yeah,
when you're trying everything.
If you're only wide, I think of like it's you can have 100 1-foot holes of where you dig a foot down. You could have 100 of those, right? Or I could have one hole where I dig 100 feet down. And if I'm digging for water or like, trying to turn this thing into a well or whatever, like I can get a lot more out of going deep in that depth. And I think about my church mission. We used to walk around the street and ask people all the time. We called it like a survey because we were in Eastern Europe. I served in Bulgaria and we were very, we almost had to kind of approach people in a careful way. We were not super welcomed, so we were very careful. It was like, hey, hey, we have a couple questions for you. What do you think about God? Like, who is God to you? Like, we would lead with just very surface level questions. Just go try to find like commonalities.
Right.
The hard thing was that even though Bulgaria was Eastern Orthodox Christian, man, there were not a lot of commonalities because I would ask that simple question, like, who is God to you? And the answer was just like you're saying, it was one of width, not depth. And they would use this phrase, which translates to like, God is some kind of power, but I don't know much more than that. And I'm not really willing to commit in this conversation to knowing anything more than that. And for me as a 19, 20-year-old person, it was like, I might be talking to a 40, 50, 60-year-old person right now, but like, I feel like for me, like I am, from a faith standpoint, I can go deeper than this person. Like, God is a heavenly Father to me. I know that there's a Savior and he's a real person and, they know me and I'm anchored to them, kind of like what you led with in this conversation. Yeah. So anyway, I love the fact that you're just so willing to go and explore some of those other things too, just to give color to our faith. And just, it's a cool big world out there. It's so interesting to me. Right? I have the same thing. Part of my mission was in Turkey, Istanbul.
Oh yeah, so I did really
Bulgaria and Turkey. Yeah.
Oh,
that's and so you go to Turkey and it's like, okay, now everyone's Muslim, and like I'm curious, like what is this about?
Right.
Like, there's 21 million people that live in Istanbul.
Yeah.
They got something here that they're passionate about. Well, so it was so interesting to me, but I've always had this, that's why I've always admired you, is like, I want to go learn this stuff. I think it's so cool. And then I constantly along the way want to be asking myself, like, how does this relate to like my current convictions? Right. And does it allow me to go deeper?
Yeah. And is there something I can, learn from someone else? Yeah. So one of the phrases that I try and teach people like on trips and, wherever else is holy envy. It's a phrase I borrowed from a bishop of the Church of Sweden.
Okay.
And he actually, interestingly, first coined the phrase, or at least publicly, when there was a LDS temple being built in Sweden.
Okay.
And there was a big opposition to it.
Yeah.
So this bishop from the Church of Sweden called together his people to say to them, listen, let me give you a couple rules when you're dealing with other religions. He says, rule number 1, don't find out information about a church from that church's enemies. If you want to find out about someone's beliefs, ask somebody who actually believes it.
Yeah, I love that.
He's like, that's rule number 1. He says, rule number 2, if you're going to compare religions, which I don't necessarily like advise people, but if you're going to compare them, compare best to best. Don't take some wild, obscure story from some other faith tradition that makes them look like garbage and compare it to like your greatest virtue that you have. He's like, that's unfair. Man,
I think if people applied just what you just said in the world, there would be so much less hate.
Yeah.
And because what happens nowadays is people, they go online, they look something up. Some YouTuber made a video about some of the like past history of a church or of a, something that was taught that's not totally even aligned with like, who that church is and what they really even do stand for.
Right.
It's like the non-highlight reel,
right.
but that everyone treats as the highlight reel.
Right.
And it's some like uncredible person in the dark corner of the like,
right.
Of the
Which is so silly. And
I think that's such
even
a
about
cool thought.
Even about individual people. Like I've just I'm kind of neck deep in studying the Old Testament again now, and sometimes there's verses in there that make God look like a bully, depending on how somebody wants to spin the phrase. And one of my rules in reading Scripture is to assume the best. but it's also a rule I use when interacting with people. Like, just assume the very best about what someone's doing or why they are doing it.
Yeah.
You might be wrong, but you'll be wrong very few times out of 100 or 1,000.
Yeah.
You know? So rule
That's
1,
cool.
rule 2, and then his rule 3 was, he said, leave room for holy envy, which is finding a way to admire and be inspired by the faith practices and beliefs of other people.
Wow.
And maybe even like letting that inspire your own faith and your own beliefs.
Wow.
Just to be able to look at the way somebody practices their faith and say this, that probably is not the way I will do it, but I do see your passion, and passion is one thing I could improve on, and I see your commitment, and commitment is one thing that I could improve on, to just see the way that other people. So an example is,
that's cool.
When we go to Israel, the trip is split into 2 halves. First half is up in the Galilee, and it's the country up there, and it's surrounding the lake, and it's quiet. And you go to these towns that Jesus used to live in and performed his miracles, and they're just the ruins, and they're on the seashore, and it's just like, so generally speaking, it really speaks to Latter-day Saints. Because they like to go to, I want to see it how it originally was, and and all this kind of stuff. And the second half of the trip is in Jerusalem, and Jerusalem has a church built over every sacred site.
Yeah.
And usually they're Eastern Orthodox churches or a Roman Catholic church, and the style is way different, and the way it's like the architecture is like different, and so somebody goes in almost a little bit uncomfortable, and their gut reaction is, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And I try to teach people, like, hold on, before you go in, just prepare your mindset, and that just because something is different doesn't mean it's wrong. And unfamiliar is not the same as untrue or bad or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you kind of have to just, prime your heart a little bit and your mind for it a little bit. But then once you do that, you can go in and say, man, I can see the differences, and I'm not afraid of the fact that there's differences. But I
so cool.
admire you, and I want to learn from you. And
that's so cool.
I just got back from India in January, and I was in the most sacred city in the world to Hindus. And the first thought I had was, genuinely, literally, over 1 billion people on this planet, this is how they see the world. This is how they see the divine,
Yeah.
Like, just right now, today.
It's a big number.
It's a huge number of people.
There's like 300 million people that live in the U.S.
Yeah, who see like God and the purpose of life in a wildly different way than I do.
But through this way, like,
Yeah. And so I got there, and I'm in the most sacred city in the world to Hindus. Varanasi is the name of it.
Okay.
And it's the most opposite place I've ever been to Orem, Utah.
How so?
Just every part of it is so different. Just what you see, what you smell, what you're experiencing, the way of life. Like, you're just like I think I said 35 times a day on that trip to India, I cannot believe that we are all living on the earth at the exact same time. Like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I have felt like I have traveled.
Wow.
That Elon Musk has taken me to another planet.
I'm on Mars.
I was like, this is so nuts that one day in heaven,
wow,
I'm gonna sit down with some of these folks and say, hey, describe to me life on Earth.
Wow.
And I will use words like, Little League baseball, stockings on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
4th of July picnics. Like, that will be the way I describe mortality.
Right.
And they will not describe it with any of those words at all. And yet, we're on the same globe at the same exact time. And in my belief system, with the same purpose here. Right? We were sent here on purpose. And so, it was wild to sit there and just sort of try and not just religiously, the way they believe
Yeah.
is so different than mine.
Right.
But just like lifestyle itself
Wow.
is so different. But then I would sit down with somebody, and within 30 seconds, my conclusion was, oh, we're no different from each other. Like in our core.
Yeah.
Like it.
We're humans.
Yeah. Like we have way more in common.
Yeah.
Than we actually have different from each other.
Yeah.
And that was like fascinating to understand and to see. And I just think there's something about like the humility, trying to like adopt a humility to say, if I go in and say, I'm right, you're wrong, you know?
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. And I miss out. I've already closed the door to learning anything from you. Again, I think it's great to disagree.
Yeah.
Like that's fantastic. And I'm really interested in this concept right now of, instead of like, I want to know what people believe. That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in knowing why somebody believes.
Yeah.
If we lay out what to what, then I'm like, I can see so many differences.
Yeah.
But if I lay down why to why, if I'm like, why do you believe and why I believe, and our conversation can be there, it feels like we'll find so much more in common.
Yeah, you can connect a lot more on that, because like your intent is probably really similar as people.
Yeah.
Their intention in going and following that culture or that religion is probably really aligned with like what yours is following yours.
Yeah.
Most of my mission was in Bulgaria, and I did like a month or two in Turkey. Bulgaria is Christian, Turkey's Muslim. One of the lessons I learned early on in my mission was from my mission president, who he would teach all the time, because he's, dealing with 18, 19-year-olds, like, hey, in our mission, we're going to be disciples, not dudes. Disciple is better than dude. And so he would push us and challenge us to just buy into being committed to our faith. Disciples are committed. We're gonna go committed, not casual, in terms of how we go live. All day long in Bulgaria, Christians, I'm teaching. Again, I am all in. I'm a Christian. Still am. I'm all in on my faith. But like what I saw in Bulgaria was a lot of people that were not committed. And then I went over to Turkey, and it was like super, super committed people to their Muslim faith. Yeah. And so it was this weird thing as a young person. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I have these two different faith systems that are in my LDS mission, and the Muslims feel like better people, like way more faithful people than the Christians. Yeah. And so I came home and I was like, I think to your point and like what you're talking about, it was like your holy envy thought, I think, is so cool. There were so many things I admired about people in Turkey, and it just felt like a really committed type of person there. Yeah. And so then the question became, how can I go and take a bunch of those, how can I go live like a lot of those people lived, and take that level of commitment and just go deeper as a disciple, and better apply that in my life. So it was kind of an interesting experience as a young person. I came home super committed to.
That's awesome.
To be all in, and so.
Yeah, and I think so. One of the things that I try to teach people in Israel, most of the people that I take on my trip are Christian, have an affinity toward Judaism. And know hardly anything about Islam. That's just statistically the people that I take, right?
Probably because they're just united. They're from the U.S.
Right. And so to just be based off their life experiences and whatever. Yeah. And not that there's disdain, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there could be some disdain.
Yeah, because, like,
culturally, we're pretty good at, to your prior point, hearing some of the things on the internet and making assumptions.
Assumptions, right. Yeah, some of the surveys that are done with people in the United States to use words to describe Islam or Muslims, like they're pretty, like, they're not the nicest words that come to mind. Right. So I'll usually have an afternoon or whatever on that trip where we talk about Islam. It's like, we ought to know even what it is.
Right.
Like, you don't even,
Yeah.
like, there are some people who might have a disdain in your heart. It's like, you have disdain for something that you can't even name anything about.
Oh,
like,
wow.
which is interesting.
Which is so yucky.
We all have
Like,
that. We all have that,
yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah.
not calling anyone out on it. But statistically, you and I will see a world, if it follows this trajectory, where Islam becomes the most dominant faith on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Currently, it's Christianity as far as numbers.
But they're growing faster.
Uh-huh. And you and I will see the day when Islam will be the dominant faith of planet Earth.
Yeah.
And I will say that to groups, and then I will usually say something along the lines of, and that will be a really good thing.
Why?
And that's the very, that's like, what I'm baiting.
Yeah.
That's my clickbait,
Yeah. I love that.
Is to help someone like say like, wait, would I have said that? Would I have thought that?
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. And it's to your point, what you just said, like,
committed.
We're going to have a world, like the dominant faith in the world is going to be people just committed to loving God and taking care of people. And if you think Islam is this, that you've like made up in your head or seen just the low light reel, like you were saying earlier, then no, that wouldn't be a good thing.
Right.
But if you see what the majority, if you see the faith and the discipleship within, Islam. And I mean, the 5 pillars of their religion are
prayer,
faith, and prayer, and fasting, and taking care of neighbor, and you're just like, well, I want that neighbor. That's who I want as my. Who I want as my next door neighbor.
Well, it feels really similar to, again, I think to your point of what is your why. Like, why do you follow these things? And their answer would be so stinking similar to ours. It's to grow closer to God, to improve, to progress. And so the word intent, I think, is a really beautiful word. And that word can really help in terms of bridging communities, cultures, religions.
I mean, that the name of the faith itself, Islam and Muslim, come from the same Arabic word. And it's a word that means discipleship, commitment. Like, that's where it comes from.
I didn't know that, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's where, like, I'm devoted to God and his purposes. Like, that's what that's my life purpose. And so when someone says that, they're like, I am a Muslim. What they're saying, translated, is I'm a person devoted and dedicated to God.
That's cool. I love that.
It's like, oh, legit. And in that sense, I would be like, oh, same.
Yeah. Commonalities, I think that's beautiful. Another, shifting gears a little bit, I just wanted to ask you, I feel like you have done such an amazing job just like utilizing your platform to go and do good. And there's a lot of people in their 20s, 30s that have convictions, that have had amazing experiences. And I think social media and some things that a lot of youth know how to go and leverage and use, I just feel like we could do better at like being a light and sharing our truths and being authentic and being willing to go and share those things. I heard a quote actually this morning, listened to a podcast, that youth is being wasted on the young. Like, youth is being wasted on the young. Like, meaning like when you're young, it's beautiful, but like sometimes we're so dumb when we're young that it's like, so like, how can, my listeners, 18 to 30 year olds, just go and do God's work utilizing social media and some platforms that allow for really big leverage nowadays? How can they go do better like you have?
Because
again,
I would just take off the last part.
No, like objectively, this guy has more followers than all my friends combined.
No, so. So I'll answer with that asterisk. But I would say 2 things. Don't let me forget to say both of them because my ADHD will take over. But I think there's so much value in social media and the reach that we can have today. Yeah. There's a lot of danger in it too. And this is such a cliche conversation. We're not even going to go down that. Everyone knows it. Yeah. But there is something about somebody's social media presence that they ought to know, and like the leverage that they can have. We live in a world where I can look at, the Kardashians and see how many millions of people that are following them, and I compare it to my social media account, and I'm like, well, I'm not reaching anybody. Yeah. But if you actually look at the numbers, and you're like, let's say I produce a post or a reel that gets seen by 300 people.
Yeah.
That's a full.
It's like a basketball stadium full of people.
Yeah. And then it gets up to 1,500 and you're like, and then what about like 10,000? Like those numbers aren't even like unreachable anymore.
Right.
Right. With just like what it can do. And so I would put in somebody's mind the reminder that, oh, first of all, chase a purpose, have a purpose, right? Have a good intention that you're trying to do. Like that would be one of the, I just want to tell my son when he comes home from his mission, this is going to like, and one of it will actually be discipleship for him, where I'm just saying a lot of like a missionary will come home and they'll just be like, I miss being a missionary. Yeah. And I'll say, oh, actually what you miss is having a purpose. And it was very laid out for you how to live out that purpose. Yeah. You can still have a purpose today and you're going to live it out differently. And that's going to adjust every few years of your life. Like your purpose now with your 2 kids is different than it was as a missionary. It might be the same kind of purpose, but you're going to live it out differently.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And if you keep wishing for like that old way of living it out, then you're going to always be like, but if you just like have this purpose. Yeah. Now, how do I live out that purpose is the question. But I got distracted a little bit.
I love that though.
But if you want to try and do good and leverage sort of the opportunities that we have as Americans with social media, I wouldn't be hesitant because of like, oh man, I don't have 10,000 followers. I don't have blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, bro, look at the numbers. Yeah. Like, when's the last time you had an audience of 300 people? Yeah. Like when's like, seriously. Yeah. And like, that's that easy. Yeah. On Instagram.
Yeah. That perspective is helpful.
Yeah. And it's like, get a microphone and put me in front of 500 people.
It's a big deal.
That's such a big deal.
But then people minimize it in terms of their social and their influence.
Right. And you're just like, okay, so don't quit because of numbers is what I would say.
Cool.
Right? Yep. The whole flip side. So I'm encouraging it. I'm saying go for it. Inspire people in that way. Yeah. But then I would also say don't become so obsessed with like the leverage and the big numbers that you sacrifice individual relationships and conversations with people. I can't change people's lives over Instagram. Right. That happens around kitchen tables. Yeah. That happens at lunch with friends.
One to one is different than one to many.
Exactly.
And they both have their purpose.
Yeah. So don't give up on either.
But don't get them mixed up.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I were to pick one over the other, I would say you pick people.
One to one.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I don't have the emotional capacity to take care of that many people. Yeah. I probably have the emotional capacity to take care of and look after in a way that matters. 10 people? Small. It's like, I just don't have it in me. Yeah. I don't have the time or the emotional energy for it. I can make a difference in a really small group of people. Right. I'm going to be friendly to all. I'm going to spread good news like a newspaper would. Yeah. And throw it on people's front porches. Right. In the way we do today. Yep. But I really think where I'm going to find the greatest thrill in life and actually fulfill the purpose I'm after, it's going to be right here.
I really love that answer, because if you're only, I think I know, and we all know people that have chosen I'm kind of only a one to many type of influencer or person, and usually those people they might look popular on paper or whatever or online, but they're not super fulfilled. Yeah. But the people that have the one to one down, I just think of like coaches or like if I could coach and make any money, I would be I love coaching. Yeah. Like just like a basketball coach or whatever. Like this is so cool because you just get you sit down and you teach someone something and you get deep with your relationship with them. And so I think both are so powerful. They both have their purpose and their kind of their objective. And
I would hope that
I think that's cool.
The wider one would inspire more of the smaller ones. Like
So good,
that's where that's their relationship with each other.
Yeah.
It's
like your lead magnet for these types of conversations that are deeper, where you can actually have a relationship. You can go to lunch and have conversations just about life and faith and family and things like that.
And you survey them
and
say top 5 people who've had the greatest impact on your life. And they know every one of them.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah. They're not the influencer where you're just seeing short clips.
And not to say that you can't do a lot of good and influence for good in.
Right. It's a tool though.
Yeah.
It's a tool. It's not the end all be all. Like it's just a tool. But I think that nowadays, I mean, my take, honestly, watching you, the impact you're having is like, it's a tool that should be used. I wish people of faith would like kind of like, and I kind of want to start to lean into this as of late, because I just feel like there's so many of the people that, like you brought up earlier, where they're excited to get online and share lowlights of our culture, our faith. And we're seeing it all over, like the Hulus and the Netflixes with some of these stupid shows that are out. And it's like, how about we get on and share some of our highlights? Yeah. Right? And some of our best people, like, let's go take on that responsibility and go share some different kind of newspaper out there. And then it'll hopefully create opportunities to go deep and really impact and kind of do both. I think that's a really awesome thought. Right. One, I mean, we can kind of finish with this one. I really appreciate you being here and chatting.
Oh, dude, of course.
I would love to just hear about, so like my little brother, like I said, came home from his mission a couple days ago. And for me, that experience of like having someone come home at the airport is like the closest thing to heaven that exists in our day. Like it's just this insanely cool moment where you haven't seen someone for years and then they come home. And it just feels like this, it's almost like I just picture heaven that way. I don't even know what question I'm asking with this. Like, you have a son coming home, within the week. Maybe just speak to what that's meant to you, like having him going and doing that, but then also coming home and just kind of what's on your heart as he's coming home. And maybe just finish, just speaking to that. I kind of feel inspired to just ask about that.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. It's in a week from today when we're recording this, and I'm looking forward to that so much, and I've heard that from so many people. Yeah, because I put out yesterday on my stories like, okay, 8 more sleeps or whatever, Yeah, and the number of people that have like messaged back and said, "Oh, you just wait until that hug at the airport." Yeah. Right. There's one guy said it was almost or better than the day they were born. Oh man. When I held him for the first time. And that is the language and the level that
That's
people
so
are.
And I wonder if it's just because like you have this insanely amazing relationship with them, and then you get to see them go, and you're like, are they ever freaking coming back? Whereas when they're born, it's like, bro, I didn't even know this thing existed. Now I got a kid now.
Yeah. Like I felt like when my Jack was born, one of the first, phrases I said to him in the hospital. I remember this, like hold him in the hospital, and I just said, "So nice to meet you." Oh, yeah. Like, and it really was like I was meeting him for the first time. And that's so, that was exciting to think of what could come and what could be. But then we spent 18 years together and we have all of our memories and we have all of our ups and downs and all the experiences together. And so now it's like, an interesting thing happens. Like you just dote on your little kids. Like you love them and they're so cute and they like do the funniest stuff and they're, but then they actually grow up and they get personality, they have personalities, but you almost like your relationship starts to shift, and you actually have enjoyable, I'm not saying this to say little kids aren't enjoyable, but like your conversations are really different, and the things that you talk about and experience are
they become almost a little bit more of like a friend where you can kind of connect with them and actually have like meaningful conversations.
And And so now you have this aspect of I've missed you so much. And then also you have this other part of it that's you've had all these experiences and you've grown and changed. And I'm excited to get to know Jack again. I'm excited to hear and see who he's become. And he won't see it in himself.
Yeah.
Because we never see it in ourselves.
Yep.
It takes distance to be able to, to observe that and see it. And then I'm excited to think about like, where is he going to go from here? And what's he going to, what's he going to do? And
one of the cool, I love those thoughts. That's super beautiful. I think that you just made me think about missions are so cool that way. It doesn't have to just be a mission. It can be in a lot of other parts of your life, but like just choosing to go all in on a certain lifestyle, the day-to-day, the boring kind of unsexy stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't recognize the growth in yourself, but it compounds. Like everything above zero compounds. Yeah. And I'm sure your son has grown a ton. My little brother grew a ton on his mission. But then I would say to your son and all these other guys listening, like if you've been on a mission, just like the day-to-day stuff matters. And I'll plug your podcast, like the Don't Miss This podcast, listening to their weekly scripture study, or just doing things like that, creating systems in your life, the little things that keep you connected to God. Your faith is a huge part of, like you said, your overall identity and the why behind everything, and just staying purpose driven. I love that thought of giving that advice to your son as he's getting home, like find a purpose, not just any purpose, but one that just like fires you up and that's aligned with God and his will.
Yeah.
And just go do the stuff, go do the thing, and go do it every day.
And it makes it like, if I can tie the mundane to that grander purpose.
Yeah.
If I can tie everything I do to love of God and love of people, then they actually can come alive, and it provides this intrinsic motivation to, like, I know why I have this habit. I'm not just doing it for the sake of doing it. I know why I have it. I know kind of what my purpose is, and it's not rigid. Mm-hmm. Like, to have a purpose, like, allows for like so many ways to get there and options in getting there. But pick one, pick a few, and have that be.
And get clear on it. Show up every day, there's a lot of things in life that don't matter. I think a lot of the things that we've talked about today, there's been some really beautiful nuggets shared. I love some of your thoughts about just better understanding people and why they go do what they do, and finding commonalities, and then just choosing to go deep on your convictions. I think at some point you don't shut it down or shut down the width. Like, you can continue to go explore and ask questions and stay curious and love on other people, but you got to go deep and wide.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I admire a lot in like what you're doing. And I want to go live a life where I just feel like I can be approached by any friend, whether they're of, whatever faith that they choose to belong in, whatever type of decisions they're making. Like, I just want to be approachable always. But I also want them to know, like, I'm deep in my thing. Yeah. And I'm not just like a yes man that's like willing to go, like, it's like, I have my convictions, and I'm deep in what I am and who I am.
Yeah. And you can have both. That's the value. Yeah. You're not picking.
Yeah. God is an and God.
Yeah.
Like, not an or God. He's amen. Abundant.
Yeah. And I just think, it's come up so many times in this conversation that, there's a lot of really fun things to pursue and to try in the world. And I would say, oh man, go after them. Like, that's fun. Yeah. Like, the opportunities you have, especially if you're in your 20s, early 30s, the opportunities that are in front of you to just try so many different things is so cool. And I'm sure you talk a ton about that on, just with everybody. But I just would say that I think it's pretty apparent when you talk about Jack coming home from his mission, and this being something that I'm looking forward to so much, that's just evidence of how beautiful it is to have relationships with people. that they're unmatched with anything else that we do in the world. No, genuinely, no amount of success or accomplishments can replace the kind of thrill that comes in relationships with other people. Like your purpose, whatever it is, make sure it includes like doing good and taking care of other people. There won't be anything else that thrills your soul more than that. And that airport scene is going to be evidence of that. For somebody to compare that to the day their child was born is evidence of we are hardwired and soft-wired, whatever those mean, to love people. Yeah. And that's where your greatest thrill of soul will. Yeah. You know, I just...
Yeah, showing up for the people around you. My stepdad passed away, you know this, within a year. And I shared this on another episode. But, like, when he was passing and as I was kind of, like, thinking forward in my life, like, what next for me now? Like, these two things over and over and over again were on my mind. One, I just want to be admired by my loved ones the way that I admired him. That's number one. Number two, and you've used the word relied on. Like, I need to make sure that I can be relied on in all the important areas of my life by the people that are in my camp. And that's everything else doesn't matter. Yeah. Everything else doesn't matter. Yeah. And I think the high that you'll feel when you go see your son, like, dude, nothing, there's no selling a business, no, like nothing that will touch that. So relationships are everything. And then maybe like just last thought is like this, the faith component just puts a big old magnifier on, like a magnifying glass on your relationships and allows them to go so much deeper and give them so much more color and context. Yeah. And so I love that.
I mean, one of the promises of Jesus is an abundant life. That's what he says I have to offer you, is an abundant life. And I think everything becomes more colorful and more thrilling when it's motivated by and ignited by somebody's faith. You know, a recent study in Scripture, like I've been doing, is how often Jesus uses the phrase eternal life to talk about a present tense experience. That's usually a phrase that we feel like is, oh, that's future, that's heaven. Right? But we just said that airport experience is going to be heaven, which is evidence that you can experience heaven here. Yeah. You don't have to wait for it and look forward to it. Yeah. I mean, you can. There's stuff to look forward to, right? I mean, we've all lost people in our lives and we can't wait for those reunions and I think
they'll probably feel really similar though to,
I think so.
If me seeing my stepdad again feels like it felt coming home from my mission. Yeah. It like,
why wouldn't it?
Well, I like, as long as it's the same as that, like sign me up for that heaven.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. What else do you want?
It's so amazing. Like that feeling of reconnecting, being together again. Yeah. Like that is at the core center of my faith. Is that, you know, God has designed a plan that allows for that to happen after this life and that we get to be together and continue to make memories and continue to grow and learn together.
And I just, this year, my beginning of this year, my niece passed away sort of tragically. She just had twins and then died from complications in childbirth. And it's the first person that's been that close I mean, my grandparents I was really close to, and you know, but it's the first person that I feel like it's the hardest loss. Yeah. And it's been hard to watch my sister and brother-in-law and my other nephews like handle that and deal with that. And I don't even have to ask them, and I'd bet my whole net worth on it that I could say, what are you looking forward to most about heaven? And I already know the answer. Yeah. And it's not going to be a mansion. And it's not going to be, you know, a big swimming pool. It's not going to be skiing every day, you know? Yeah. It's going to be Morgan. I know that's what it's going to be. And the beauty of that is I believe that's true. I believe we do get to see each other again and live out our favorite moments again and again and again. And it's also beautiful because we can experience it today too.
Yeah.
If people are heaven and you have it here and you get it there.
Yeah.
But
why wait?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why wait? Go get heaven now. Go experience it now. Go make amazing moments now.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, yeah. And that's a really important thought because we have this thing wired into us. I have it bad where it's like my golden years are down the road. Like my heaven is, I'm still working for it. You know, I'm building my mansion or whatever, but it's like, I think that 10 years ago, I probably, and you probably wished for the life and the moments and the things that we have today.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just like,
sure.
I think that that's a beautiful way to live. And, I'm excited for you. That'll be awesome. Can't wait to see the pics and the vids and all that. And I'm grateful that he went on a mission, that my little brother went on a mission, because that's how we met.
Yeah.
So I really am grateful for you, and I appreciate your example to many. And hopefully this isn't the last time we do this. I appreciate you hanging with someone that has 1,000 followers, not almost 200,000. So
dumb.
Thank you guys for listening. And this has been super fun. I really appreciate you. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in, guys.